Yeah.
Because that is one of those items that you're always like, well, do I need to do it for that one specific item, yes or no?
Yeah, in the back of your mind, exactly.
Like, we're off.
We are off, and we have a divergence in routing immediately with a key and with 20 rupees, so off we go.
I'm thinking Mali is going straight for the Houlihan, while JJ is going for the more common route nowadays, going for the, well, triple and going for Uncle. And we've got a map check immediately as well. With Hera being green pendant and crystals in desert and in Eastern Palace.
Pretty good tree pull there for JJ, 20 rupees to him. And you were right, Zert, we've got the immediate Houlihan. What do you think of that strategy? Because, you know, what if you then find 2 straight chests with 300 rupees after you do this?
I actually prefer this strat myself, because that would mean you can buy bombs right after you exit the Houlihan cave, and that way you won't have to worry about getting bombs on, in the town somewhere.
Oh, and JJ finding an early cape. We're already looking like we might have an Aghanim seed within a minute.
But let's not hope that that book is going to be right on that cave, though.
Yeah.
But then again, usually when I restream, we have very late swords, but when I commentate, it's usually going to be that one item somewhere, totally.
Well, certainly not the cape. They're not going to have to worry about being trolled by that. Mali looks like going to do the guaranteed 50-50 bomb bushes here. So
works
the 2...
every time?
Yeah, 50% of the time. It works every time, exactly. And of course, it did not work at all that time.
And JG pulling another big 20 out of the tree.
There's a bomb.
Yeah.
Just gonna go ahead with one. That's interesting. When I run that way, I prefer to at least have 3.
At least only a big 20 on Lumberjack Cave, so Aghanim will not be required for that item at least.
For that item at least, in spite of our warning cape early.
And Mali not opting to triple his bomb amount with that one race game.
Mm-hmm. That seems like it might have been worth the trouble. Little blue mail certainly is worth the trouble for JJ. He picks that up quickly.
That is a nice item to have early on. Doesn't give progress, but it makes you just, well, be able to take a lot more hits.
It's just a comfort level thing, isn't it?
Oh, and protection for it, apparently.
Oh,
we also got the Fisher Price shield.
Yes, we do. And Mali, meanwhile, picks up 3 more bombs. So now, no danger of running out here in Kakariko.
Mali's probably wondering, like, why did I pick... Oh, wait, yeah, that's why he picked up that extra
That's why.
bomb. Never mind.
There you go. Because I want to throw one into the wall. Oh, and a blue bottle right next door, green bottle rather, to the sick kid. So that's an interesting development.
His medicine was next door all along.
Yeah.
Now let's see how happy sick kid is with this turn in.
Well, he gave his all, but it was only a big 20.
Yeah, but fair enough. I mean, he didn't have to walk all that way with a potion, so...
True. Bit of a scam there by the bottle salesman in vanilla with a 10 arrow upgrade.
And 3 card containers.
Yeah.
Blind set.
JJ. Blind love. Oh!
Good, nice. There's our first real item.
There we go.
And our first sword.
Wow, Kakariko loaded in this seed. Not necessarily.
Just look at those heart containers.
Yeah,
in the village.
that as well. Not necessarily in the quantity of unique items, but certainly in the impact of the items that these players are picking up. So, got some interesting decisions coming here.
Basically, not a whole lot of progression, but a whole lot of defensive options right now.
Yep, defensive options, speed options, and yeah, just opening up the light world to exploration. You don't feel awkward about checking the Ice Rod Cave now. You don't feel awkward about checking Agina even potentially, because you can get there awfully quick.
Yeah, indeed. And with the amount of items that Agina has nowadays, I don't think it would be a bad check.
Absolutely not, yeah. JJ using up his last bomb.
It's just actually nice routing because you can just buy bombs and then find out that in the end there are 3 more bombs.
Yeah. And he may opt not to, given that he has a sword. Obviously, if he didn't, it would be a no-brainer. But he's going to go ahead and do it anyway, which you can't argue with that. Mally now covering the back end.
I wouldn't mind personally having a couple of extra bombs because,
Agreed.
well, at the start you always need like your basic starting package.
Yeah, it's always a help, you're right.
But it's interesting to see after this village where our runners will go. Will they opt to go to escape or will they just opt to go to the southern route?
Agreed. Obviously, having the sword plays into that quite a bit. At the same time, sometimes you feel like you'd rather not do escape until you've checked the back of escape because the lantern might be in the back of escape, and that will make getting that last dark chest so much easier.
That is true. But then again, if the lamp's in the front part, then you have the other way around.
Right. So...
And that's the fun part about Rando. You never know what items you're going to get and where you're going to find them.
You really don't. And there really is no right way to play it. JJ going ahead and YOLOing, and he's going to find 3 bombs that he doesn't have the bomb capacity for.
I've got a feeling that he's just going to save quit as soon as he sees 3 bombs right there.
I imagine so. Jump down, and there he goes. Mally headed for the rest of the escape. Yeah.
Because he didn't check the uncle bit, did he? Because he doesn't have his cape yet.
That's true.
We're actually seeing both of our runners going towards the escape.
Would be very interesting, wouldn't it, if Mally found himself out of ideas, and that's because of forgetting to check the uncle.
That happened to a lot of runners, I think, just forgetting about one easy location.
One little bit, yeah.
And usually it's one of those locations that you, well, just do an autopilot, which you forget. Like, some parts in Kakariko, maybe the escape, the uncle, you just think of having checked them, and then things get really rough on you.
Yep. Exactly. The automatic processing, if you will. Your brain telling you, nope, you've been there, and yet you haven't.
Oh, and there's that 300 rupee piece you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Funny that it's turned out really the time difference between these 2 runners is a combination of Houlihan and checking Uncle. And that's why JJ is just on Mally's heels.
Indeed.
But he's nearly ready for a Zora check if he needs it because of that 300.
He still need either a glove upgrade or he needs to fake flipper just for Zora, which I don't think is, well, that valuable anymore.
True.
At least nowadays you see a lot more runners just waiting until they at least get the moon pearl before they fake flipper.
Right, which is absolutely logical. You're talking about the difference between 1 location and 3 locations. Oh, okay, Mally now going back outside, so realized that Uncle had not been checked.
It was a good use of Death Warp.
Agreed, yeah. Trolled by the guards here, but able to finally fight them off. Oh, and the high value tree pull is actually less valuable than the low value tree pull.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen from time to time. JJBlu with a good check of the Bonk Rocks, but a mere piece of heart.
JJ seeing that it's Crystal EP and knowing him, I mean, I've played with him quite a lot and talked with him. He's probably heading to Eastern Palace and Sahashla after.
Also going to do a Houlihan now, which, again, I find that interesting considering we've not been to the mini Moldorm cave yet. The odds of encountering 46 rupees between then and now or now and then, seem pretty high.
Fails to get the hula hand.
You did. That's strange.
Maybe it's just a sign from the seed saying you don't need hula hand.
You might need the ice rod, though.
Ice rod, yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
Well, I actually like seeing it early because that's usually that one item that can be basically anywhere on the entire map apart from Trinex and Ganon Tower.
Definitely can troll you.
And
yet another heart. My goodness.
Well, the seed would actually be finished if bosses started appearing on the world map as well, because every single boss drop so far has been in the overworld.
Nice dash strat there.
Let's see what the nice guy has for us. The red
Oh my. Wow.
More love. Some rupees, the run validated, and the lamp.
There's the lamp. Now, are these runners going to regret not checking the dark chest? Ooh, and JJ making the play over to Agina.
That is an interesting diversion.
Yeah, deciding with the boots, may as well just go ahead and do it. Gonna check the ledge as well and see some bombs.
Well, right now we're going to see two of the most elusive locations early game, which are Ice Rock Cave and Nagina. So let's see if one of them actually pays off.
Pays off is one way to put it.
Yeah. And what about JJ goes there and he's like, why did I just...
Oh! How about that? How long is Mally going to take to go over to Agina? That is the question.
Well, they both paid off, but I'd rather have that moon pearl than the 300 rupees.
Absolutely. And you wonder if JJ now... It's funny, because I was mildly criticizing the decision to do a Houlihan room. He's likely now to do Mini Moldorm, followed by the fake flipper.
That would actually be a huge value if the fake flipper gives something.
Yeah.
And for Mally, I think it only depends on how many items he'll find before he'll have to Agina right there. On JJ making really quick work of the Mini Moldorm cave there.
Seriously, that was quality. Oh! Well, the runners might be a little upset they didn't grab that glove.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem... Wait, no, he did have a small key from the first time, so we can check the back half as well.
Definitely faster than saving and quitting to Sanctuary. Or is it? I'm not sure, actually.
But just imagine him finding Hammer here. He'll have Dark World access without Moon Pearl, and JJ having, well, Moon Pearl but no Dark World access.
Yeah. Not to be.
But still, finding the gloves there, that's a really big find.
Yep, that is very big. So they've each got kind of one up on each other at this point. Be interesting to see if there are any further developments on that imbalance.
And it looks like JJ is heading back, most likely to fake flipper indeed.
I would think so. It makes sense with this routing situation.
Yeah, indeed. And Mally has access to Dark Roll right here. Oh, and look at what JJ's doing. Really fancy Jesus Walker.
Very nice. A little bit of a time save, so why not? Oh.
And that heart refill gave him stop this Jesus walk.
Got trolled by the multiple of 4 piece of heart. Yeah, no, it's the worst. Picks up 50 rupees, puts him over the 1,000 mark.
Zora will be very happy to trade him with that validation rupee.
Indeed.
Or do you think Zora will actually have a good item this time?
I don't think Zora will. I think the play is indeed Death Mountain, as Mali is doing it.
And we still haven't seen, Sahashla nor Eastern Palace.
Oh, well, how about that?
Well, that is something I'm willing to pay 500 rupees for.
What is very interesting, though, is that it could absolutely take JJ away from the Dark Chest in Escape. Because now he thinks, oh, well, yeah, Death Mountain access. But look, he's absolutely routing it in. Very interesting. I have to think most players here would say, well, I'm going to start at Sanctuary, and I'm going to run over, and I'm going to turn in this flute, and I'm going to go straight up to Death Mountain without checking this.
Very, very nice reading from JJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do we have here? Swamp and T-Rock being blue and green, and 5 and 6 being Mire and Ice. That is very interesting. This means that the hookshot can basically be anywhere on the entire map.
Yeah, could be good, could be bad.
Well, let's hope for a runner's take, that it doesn't troll them that much.
No, especially an item like the hookshot that just...
And JJ gonna be very happy that he goes there.
Oh yeah. And he's gonna go ahead and continue as well, rather than saving and quitting quickly to the Sanctuary.
But what would you think if you found Ice Rock like extremely early, and you watch your first Dark World map check, and you see T-Rock being...
A pendant Turtle Rock, yeah. I mean... Boy, I tell you, that's the thing. Is that just the randomized are randomizing, or is that a sign? And
I picked one. He's from Sahashla, by the way.
Yeah, nice 45 there. He's really generous. No, it's tough, Zer. I mean, that's the thing. I think we've all agreed that the newer logics, breadcrumbs, aren't so breadcrumby anymore. They are more false indicators a lot more often than they were in previous logics. So it makes it difficult to make a call like that.
And let's see. JJ went to the escape, got his gloves. He's going to activate the flute right now, and I'm guessing he's going to make the exact same play as Mali is right now.
Yeah, you have to think so.
So we'll rise for the swag duck anthem right here. Well, we won't hear it, but yeah, we'll see whenever the goose is loose. And JJ actually opting to go to Death Mountain first instead of going to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Then again, with that flute, it doesn't take that much more time than, with the lamp going to Vanilla Way.
Oh, true. It's a time save. It's a minor one, but it's...
Yeah, and I think the longer that Mali takes to not go towards Zora, the easier JJ has it, because, well, usually without a flute, you'll have to save quite less into the game. And Eastern not paying out so far. I've only seen a +5 bomb upgrade from that one item.
Yeah, nothing of note otherwise.
And it's looking more and more like Aghanim might be required if Eastern Palace does not pay off.
Yeah, that cape was a harbinger, and it's looking like that will be the case here. Of course, we do have the interesting situation of this chest that Mali's approaching now not being a sequence break in Eastern, with the lantern being found early. So who knows what we might find here.
I think this is actually the last option we have left before we have an Aghanim seed. Oh wait, no, it's a big key. And then,
well, it's the big key. Right, it had to be to the chest, but the fact that that's not a sequence break certainly changes up what could be in that chest.
But basically, from JJ's side, it wasn't a sequence break either, because he could have gotten to Zora with the gloves.
Yeah, it's just 10 arrows.
Ooh,
so
but it looks like we do have ourselves an Aghanim seed.
Yeah, we do. Is Mali going to check Agina? I would think. That's not something you want to leave hanging before you go to Aghanim, and that is indeed the play.
And, well, that would actually explain the extremely early prep mail, the 5-6 full heart containers, and the cape.
Well, something had to be there if it wasn't going to be useful items.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, the cape, certainly. When I saw that thing a minute in, I was thinking, well...
Yeah, and, well, with the items they currently have, the only locations they have accessible in the Dark World is just Catfish, Pyramid, and Pond.
Mm-hmm. No hook shot to get across to Village of Outcasts. No flippers. So, yeah, you're pretty limited.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
It will just be interesting to see whether Mali is going for the fake flipper just like JJ did.
Agreed.
But Mali's been
Looks like it.
pretty much on logic right now because he hasn't sequence broken all that much.
There it is, though.
Yeah, I should just stop saying things because the runners will I'll prove you wrong.
Hey, it's both of us right now. We're about 0 for a dozen or so. So, but that's the fun. That's the fun of following this. Mali, of course, has already checked the Ice Rod Cave. So it's just a matter of sequence breaking. Going to use the bomb, which gives you a fairly high chance of it working, and there it is.
Yeah, and our tracker's saying in chat right now that the hobo has not been checked either, so we might have an item.
Very, very good point.
But to be quite honest, I think both these runners just sequence break to try and avoid that Aga, because they feel like it's right there.
Well, yes, certainly. I mean, it's a pretty small time investment to potentially break a big time loss, so it's worth it. Oh my goodness!
Hook shot.
How about that?
That actually, well, gives them access to Eastside Death Mountain and also to Village of Outcasts. So, if I'm reading this seed correctly, that would mean that Pot or Catfish or something probably has the flippers to get the hook shot.
Yeah, that certainly seems sensible.
And Mali finally getting that fake flipper.
Yeah, that was weird. It seemed like several of those jumps were far enough to get the fake flipper, and yet they were failing.
Yeah, that is a really tight window there. I think you only have 2 pixels there where you can jump off for the fake flipper to work. And what will JJ do now? Will he opt to go to Aghanim, or will he just be like, well, I haven't checked Hobo yet?
Got a moment of truth here, that's for sure. He's taking the flute out. Very interesting.
Yes, he's going for 8 then. That would be the sensible option.
It's a strange way to do it when you can just run to the right from your house. Well, no, you can't if you're fake flippering. Never mind.
That was a fast setup from
That was very nicely done, yes.
And he's going for... Oh, the Helia Island check. We have not seen that one either. Checking
the island, right. Well, gotta say, these runners, I mean, they've diverged almost everything from the beginning, and they are about to end up almost right on with each other.
Indeed.
JJ is just grabbing the hobo as Mali is just heading to Zora. So quite the coming together here.
Where Mali was slightly ahead on the escape, at the moment JJ is slightly ahead just because he already activated this flute.
Yeah.
But this is just only like 20-30 seconds difference.
If that. Yeah.
We still don't know whether whether Aghanim is required, yes or no. We're just postponing.
True, we are. It's a
And
very
here
good
come
point.
the most favorite enemies in the game, Dead Rocks.
Yes, the Dead Rocks.
I think I'm safe to say that it's like, well, loved by some, hated by many. Or just hated by many and loved by none.
I think hated by all, end of story. That pretty much sums it up. In fact, everyone agrees, thank you, Link Between Worlds, for letting us destroy them with a hammer.
Yeah, indeed. That was the best thing they could have ever done.
I'm afraid, our tracker, Michael Volt, you were not going to hear the casters sing the Swag Duck anthem. That would be disastrous for all involved.
Well, we have some people that are watching at the moment, and we would like them to make the end of the stream.
Yeah, exactly. Bombos Medallion, Kane of Samaria.
This still screams Aghanim.
It does. There's nothing new here, but it was certainly a useful cave to check.
Yeah.
JJ gets a little excited on the bomb jump there and just decides to go outside. Probably sensible under the circumstances.
Yeah, and Mali is probably going to pick up his T-Rock Tower package there, or Myers starting package.
Yeah, one of the two, or both.
Or none, I mean. Or of course their Ice Palace starting
Oh,
package.
Ice Pal, yeah. I mean, you have the potential triple there.
All they need for all three as well as mitts, so... If that's actually a Spiral Cave here, then I'm gonna laugh, because, yeah. Oh, and there's a last shield upgrade.
Yeah, wow. Very, very early potential for the Riot Shield. I don't think either of these runners is going to go back to Zora's Ledge just to pick up a shield, but it's there. And it's in the logic, more importantly, so maybe that Ice Rod Turtle Rock isn't so outlandish after all. You get something useful on the laser bridge.
Aga required seed, even though this sequence broke everything. They're trying to avoid it.
Has to be.
And JJ must be like, well, I found Hookshot, finally no Aga, and then he goes to the right side. He's like, I found all this good stuff, but it still allows me to do Aghanim. But yeah, looking at the fact they could already have Mirror Shield, and they have the cave, that definitely screams Laser Bridge on T-Rock, though. It will just be a very rough Aga Tower, though, because they only have the Fire Sword at the moment.
It is annoying to only have that kind of firepower.
At least they have 2 potions right now, and, well, yeah.
Yeah, annoying, as you said, is the right word. It's not going to present any kind of real danger to either of them. It's just dealing with being underpowered, more or less.
Yeah.
JJ's setting up the spins, but you've got to keep doing these silly things to these guards because all you have is the plastic sword.
Yep, and well, with Fire Sword, it doesn't really matter if you have if you do spin attacks or not, because they do same amounts of damage.
Right. It's fine if you're trying to hit both at the same time, but it's tough to set that up and have it be efficient.
Well, then just hookshot it, and the stun drop is a magic pot, which can be really nice.
Yeah, can be useful. There's a nice use of the hook shot.
But yeah, this makes me wonder, where is that next item going to be?
True, and Spiffer's in chat anticipating that the sequence break will continue in the Dark World, and one of the runners will skip pod and go straight to the Village of Outcasts. That would be very, very interesting.
Well, what the runners know at this moment is that, well, the Sphere Zero of Dark World, being Pod, Catfish, and Pyramid, have at least flippers.
Yeah.
Because that would give them hook shots, which allow them to continue.
Well, on the other hand, the hammer would allow them to continue as well. So it's not necessarily what's got to be there. But at the same time, it's a gamble, and yet it's a calculated one. It's a risk, but it's one that could pay off depending on the way things fall, especially with, of course, not having the bow yet. If you can avoid diving pod and double dipping it, that's a big time save. That's a very big time save. So do you risk that with the potential that there's absolutely nothing over on the west side of the Dark World? That becomes what the runners have to decide for themselves.
That will be very interesting to see, though, because pod is 5 items, and well, if you use that hookshot, you have so much access.
Yep, a lot of potential. No hammer either, though.
That is true. I think that is one of the reasons.
No hammer, no mirror. So, yeah.
That is probably one of the reasons why I would go straight for Village of Outcasts, because you're lacking 2 items at the moment to finish off pod.
Right. Now, that's not to say that, if pod ends up having that hammer, and then what if there's something important in Thieves Town, and you decide to finish it because you're there, then you've got to worry about that for the entire rest of the race. The big key chest there, so many interesting possibilities this seed is presenting us with right now.
Indeed, and well, it is still random. I mean, everything can be in pod, or pod can just have one item to continue further, and just give you like that. That's breadcrumb logic again.
Right. Of course, as you rightly pointed out, there's got to be some kind of progression in the East Dark World. There is no other choice. They're not meant to have the hookshot right now, so there's no way that it couldn't be. The risk is in, do you just skip that for now in the hopes that you find more useful things for the east side?
Yeah, and I'm guessing that if the progress item is on Pyramid, that would make the decision a lot easier if you go towards, the Village of Outcasts, if not.
And that's another thing. Do you check the catfish? Obviously, you've got the boots, which makes that a bit more palatable, but it's still a time sink.
Well, the big advantage they have after killing Aghanim is that they can just save quit after catfish and start up from the pyramid again.
True. Very good point. Oh, wait, or can they? They don't have the mirror, so they can't do that.
Ah, true, indeed. Good point.
Unless it's on the pyramid.
Aghanim with his blue balls. Well, the big advantage is that every single runner will get equal amounts of blue balls and regular balls, so...
Yes, nicely programmed in by our randomizer devs so that... Well, yes, the runners will clearly get different RNG throughout the game. The very obvious macro examples of RNG will not make a difference in the race.
Let's see, just a bomb upgrade on Pyramid Ledge. That is not a
there.
progress.
So, JJ, what's it gonna be? We're about to find out. He is at least headed up north, and he's getting his map check now.
Well, he's probably going to get catfish pretty soon, though. Or will it be like his big brother Zora and actually have something useful this run?
Yeah, it looks like he's headed there. Catfish seems to get less and less important as the version numbers increase. But it's that one time that he can make all the difference. So we'll see if that indeed turns out to be the case. Mally also sees that bomb upgrade. Let's see the decision on the right side of the screen.
These runners, this actually is pretty much why these runners are so close to each other. They have the exact same routing ideas, and well, you just see that every single time. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, so they don't. How about that?
Mally, stop doing that.
Oh, the fire rod!
Well, that is not progression, but it is.
Oh, yes, it
really
is.
Good to have.
Skull Woods is a crystal. It's absolutely progression in a very narrow sense, but that is a huge thing to have if JJ decides, yep, I'm going to do West Dark World as well.
That's true, but I mean, he can't officially get to the West Dark World without the sequence break.
Not officially.
The real progress item still has to be in pod.
Yes, but potentially an extra item in Skull Woods. Oh, but no, he's going to do pod. Now that is interesting. Of course, we have all the information, so it's easy for us to pontificate about. But man, if you pick up that fire rod and you saw that both Thievestown and Skull Woods are crystals, and you know that it's possible the pod progression item is going to be the flippers to lead you to the hobo to hookshot.
That is true, but in any
Going
ways,
to east side.
JJ only has to single dip in here, while Mally has to double dip Skullwoods for sure.
True. That's a very good point. Although, I mean, there's still this small chance. It's a small but distinct chance that there's an important item on the right side of pod that JJ can't access without the bow.
That would be true.
It's definitely small. But that, for me, is why that's such an interesting decision as you're walking past with your sequence broken hook shot, and decide
we're going to keep that one in the hook rod.
The hook rod, yeah. But no, I mean, that really does. I mean, that's one of the more interesting choices that you could have in this seed, and we're seeing our two runners make very, very different decisions.
Yeah, that's actually nice, because while they both follow the logic, they'd be following the exact same path, but since they have that hookshot on it opens up this Skullwoods play.
Yeah.
And Skullwood's only holding one sword upgrade as an item so far, so one item is indeed sword locked, or fire rod locked, which is good for JJ.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that's something like the hammer. Titan's mitts, along those lines. And of course, because of that 1 minute cape that we received, Bumper Cave is in play.
Yeah, indeed. I have not seen Mally check that yet. What's on Bumper
Right,
Cave?
Which is unusual, considering the direction of this routing that was necessitated by the seed.
But we do have to be careful, though. There is an option to soft locking in V27 in pod, and let's hope that that does not happen.
Yeah, a rare but potential bug in the logic. So yeah, that would be unfortunate if, as a result, we had a forfeit for that. Not a forfeit, a cancellation.
Yeah, as soon as that would happen, we would get a rematch. Oh, and there's our second medallion being Ether in the Bombable Hut.
Yeah. So that'll be easily found by both players.
Spiffers, they did change the logic, but apparently if there are two small keys on the bow-locked side, that could mean that you can get key locked in pod and would not be able to get it.
And there are the flippers in the chest game.
So we're most likely going to see mitts or hammer here in
Yes, very interesting.
That is huge news for JJ.
It is. That is
and
massive.
for Mally, of course, as well, because he knows he's, still on sequence break, by the way.
Right. Yes, he certainly does. All right, is it here? No.
Nope.
Compass is there.
So it's in one of the three chests in the Dark Maze. And powder, that is useful, but not needed.
Theoretically. It would be interesting if he found a mirror in here as well and decided to check it and something important was there. And there is the hammer!
The hammer.
JJBlu going ahead and sticking it to me, in essence, saying, yeah, go ahead. Follow through with the sequence break, and he picks up the hammer as a reward.
More items, so he immediately save quits, and he's going to probably go to the southern part of Dark World now. And as Chad is saying, indeed, if Big Chest Thievestown has something, that just means that Mally just keeps on losing time.
Well, and it's big generally. There's just so many things that open up because of that hammer.
So
it's a massive find.
as soon as JJ gets his flippers in the chess game, he knows he's back on sequence. So that's
Yeah.
good for him.
Yep. He's thinking to himself, good on me for not listening to anybody else and playing my feeling. And my feeling was avoid that sequence break because it just doesn't belong there. He nailed it. He really did.
Yeah, and I'm also expecting JJ just to finish off Skullwoods. I mean, it being a crystal, him
Why not?
picking up like Master Sword and having red mail on the 11 hearts.
Right, especially with that Master Sword pickup. That makes Mothula about 14 times easier. And obviously you've got the hammer too, which makes Mothula about 30 times easier compared to the Fighter Sword. So, yep, we'll see the first crystal of the seed between either of the runners.
And there is indeed a second item in the Fire Rod lock section of a Skullwood.
Exactly. So that could be even bigger.
But yeah, my dream of Fire Rod on pedestal is already dead, so...
Yeah, unfortunately so.
But what is the pedestal hype index at the moment? Let's see, we can't have mirror. We can't have... Well, that's actually it. We just can't have mirror. So we still have bow.
We have bow, we have quake.
Mitts. Oh wait, mitts can't be on there as well.
No, can't do mitts. Obviously. Yeah, I mean, it could be something ridiculous like book.
JJ playing pinball.
Yeah, that was very nice. Good use of that.
But looking at this seed right now, they're just a bow and mitts away from go mode even. That is really fast.
Yeah, this is looking like it has serious potential for Jet Seed.
That's actually
Doesn't
quite
mean it will.
weird, because the early game was pretty rough on them. But
it was,
after they killed Aghanim, it just kind of picked up after that. And there is one item left in Thieves Town, so will it be in the big chest or will Blind have it?
It's an excellent rhetorical question. I like it. We are about to find out.
Although I just noticed we're actually just a bow away from go mode since Ice Palace can be done with that bomb boss.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
Oh wait, no, never mind, they have Fire Rod. I'm being confused here.
Oh, yes, of course.
Ooh,
Nope, there it is.
Just Thieves Town holding an item. Let's hope for Mali's sake that it's not a progression item, because that would seriously hurt him. JJ waiting for the lift.
Hanging out. Reminds me of Darbian describing the bus stops in the Mushroom Kingdom. JJ waiting for one to come along in Hyrule.
Not picking up the key underneath the pot because he has 2 keys, so he doesn't really need it.
True.
In the meanwhile, we're going to dig for items, so let's see how many digs he needs for whatever he's going to dig up. Well, that's 20 digs, still no item.
My goodness. JJ with a good use of the Fire Rod, considering the Master Sword and the number of hearts he has.
30 digs required for one heart
container. And he skips it, which... It's interesting. I mean, that's not a big time investment to increase your hearts, even if it's only by 10% at this point.
Yeah, he just disrespected the 30 digs.
He did,
like,
yeah.
No, I dug 30 times for this, I don't think it's worth it.
JJ getting a little too hammer happy, I feel like. The Master Sword does decent damage and it's a lot easier to use. Oh, but hey!
He gets the job done.
Finished it up. Nicely done.
Still an item missing.
Yep, gonna have to do that last chest in the back.
I think he'll happily do that, though.
Who are we to talk in deets? But first, that was
And it looks like we're going to see some hype cave action here.
very nice. But actually, that's a good point. So I was questioning the use of that hammer, but the hammer is so strong that even if you're missing... Oh, and the bow in the hype cave.
Nice. Hype cave starting off good.
And what's more is if Mally now goes to pod, Mally will find hammer in pod.
Might actually send him to pod indeed.
Yeah. Might decide it's worth finishing. We don't have a mirror yet, so can't mirror back to Eastern, but very, very interesting development there. JJ finds
for pod now. I mean, he's heading towards the Agony.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. JJ found a B in the bottle for the second item. And
Not what you want to see.
No, it might honestly be worth a save and quit here because this is a long walk back, unless he's going to check Bumper Cave. But even that, it's probably faster to just go back to the Light World Flute and run over.
Yeah, but JJ still hasn't done the Thief Zone area either. So.
Oh, I know. I mean, you do both, but
let's see what Bumper Cave has, because I don't recall Mally having checked that.
Didn't see that either. Could have missed it. Bumper Cave has 20.
Well, maybe that's why we didn't remember.
Maybe.
It's usually one of those cases, and whenever you see one of those locations you can't remember what it is, it was probably nothing.
Mally opting to save and quit.
And JJ going to be back on sync right now. He's not on sequence break anymore.
Now, of course, it brings up the interesting point. We're sitting here commentating, Zert, and it's easy for us to say. When you're moving, thinking, those thoughts don't quite occur to you so clearly and cleanly.
That is very true. You're more thinking of where can I go, where
do I go next?
What is the best option?
And it's more in the down times when you have those little epiphanies of, oh right, the flippers. So now my hook shot isn't sequence broken anymore.
Well, if I look at me from a personal level, I have ADHD, and whenever I play this game, I have a certain mindset. And then I find a certain item, and then it's just going to be, ooh, piece of candy. And then, I completely forgot about what I was doing.
Love it. That's great. How do you build in, tolerances for that kind of thing so that you can stay on point and keep your focus?
I just let my feelings guide me.
That's good.
Usually it works, so...
Well, and JJ will tell you that he will be someone who's a riverboat gambler because he's a southern U.S. guy. So he's there with you on that riverboat, letting his feelings guide him as well.
Yeah. So let's see whether his feelings are alright. I mean, we still have one item left here.
We do.
So that
be
will
very curious to see what that is, indeed.
And I don't recall that Helmasaur has an item, so the only thing Mally will get here is his hammer, and then, well, being able to complete pod, which is quite something as well.
I'll be honest, I was a little, unless JJ really, he must have, so, because he quit, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, there are 3 chests left. Which means map, compass, a key.
Oh, yeah, he didn't have the big key at that point, so he couldn't open it.
Well, is that what it was? So the big key was missing. Yeah. Because I didn't notice that, so that must have been what it was. So it was map, compass, big key, and then probably a key to get to the back. So that's interesting that would turn out to be the 4 that were not in the accessible chests when you didn't have the bow.
That is true indeed.
Yeah.
We still have one. Our restreamer is saying that there is still 1 item left in pod.
Okay, and that was my other thought, was that maybe he miscounted and he either should have checked the big key chest because he did have the big key, or he didn't have it, so it didn't matter. One of the two.
But yeah,
Mally.
There's still so many options left for our runners what items can be.
Right. And Mally about to give us our answer. At least part of it. Upon entering this part of pod.
And JJ giving us the answer on the big key in Thieves Town.
Yeah.
So really interesting divergences coming up here.
There's the key.
So this one has to be the big key.
There's the big key. Right. So we've speculated to that. Mally, of course, does not have the hammer yet because it's in the back, which creates a routing nightmare, and especially when you have to kill yourself from 12 hearts.
He's going to use the spike block here, which always deal 1 heart of damage to Death Warfare.
Nice and consistent, even with red mail. Here's the big chest in Thieves Town. Nothing doing.
Well, Mally just got out of, a quite explosive situation, let's call that.
I like it. Very nice. It's one of those things that's in the back of your mind, but I have to say it's one that doesn't hang heavily in the back of your mind. Would you agree with that?
I kind of disagree. I mean, I think it's
interesting.
On the same level as Hera Basement, for example.
Oh, very nice.
Because you know that there is something, at least it has chances of something being there, but if there's nothing, then you waste a whole lot of time getting it, and if there is something there, you're happy that you checked it.
Right. The quickest of blind fights.
And that again his 3rd crystal, 2nd even, sorry, I thought he cleared pod already. But yeah, we just saw Thieves Town Big Chest, and we're about to see Pod Big Chest. It would be pretty devastating if that actually held an item, because for JJ
True.
that would mean way more time lost than for Mally.
Absolutely true. And I was praising JJ's decision to go ahead to pod and ignore the sequence break, but it hangs in the balance here. This could turn out to be huge.
JJ going to do Green Pendant Hera over Pod, over the Southern Red. This is an odd decision because you can still check the entire south part of Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
While he has his most favorite enemies up here, Cabbages and Deadrock.
Yes.
When I missed what was on the big chest in Thieves and Pod.
It was one of the dungeon items. Mally again taking a death to reset for the Helmasaur fight.
But I'd say that as soon as Mally's finished here and he did not get the item he's looking for, that he's going to save quit and probably going to head up to Eastern Palace after, because I think Armos still had an item. And I'm guessing JJ might do Green Pendant here before he's going back to EP.
And I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Especially because of this weird combination of items where you still don't have the mirror, but this is a way to access Hera. It does make you think, is this what the game is trying to tell me to do? Go this odd way around to get to Hera because it's hiding something.
Well, it is hiding a big heart at least.
It is a start. Not the start JJ was looking for.
But we can also safely assume that the pedestal dream is already dead in this seed, since the only item they still lack is mitts, and that can't be there.
Impossible.
Unless Maya requires Quake.
Yeah, JJ actually changed the polarity of that crystal without looking at it. It's funny how you kind of end up forgetting the color aspect, and it's just the muscle memory of what you're supposed to do to get through.
Yeah, usually you just do things on autopilot indeed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Heron not paying off.
Not at all. So gonna go ahead and finish and grab that pennant. You never know, and it's worth the trouble while you're here to avoid having to go back later.
It all depends. I mean, if that green pendant doesn't hold any items, then it was just a waste of time right here. But if it does have something, then that is pretty huge. I mean, for example, if this would have silvers, that would definitely make up for the time.
Definitely.
Ooh, that was close. Lauren nearly adding another notch to his victim list.
Trying to work his way in there. Nicely done, actually, to draw Moldorm out, and then he goes back into the corner. My goodness.
Well, Helmasaur dies, and he has the item, which is a big 20.
Oh my.
It's another crystal done by Mally, so he's up to 3.
He is. Each player holding a potential winning item up above their heads right now. The earlier crystal, the green pendant, we shall see which one might matter in the end.
I think the only places we have open to us, according to the logic, is Spike Cave, Green Pendant, and Armos. I think our runners check pretty much everything else. Oh wait, we still have the powder check as well, which JJBlu forgot. Well, when he did Thief Time.
That's a very good point. Just getting that cape use in under time, and it's the silver arrow.
Silvers. That is a nice find.
Meanwhile, Mally, listening to you, Zert, headed straight to the Batman.
I think JJ will be happy with the silvers though, because not everybody goes to Spike Cave.
Yeah, it was a very, very well routed play.
And a big 20 from Batman.
Once again.
And there we go, JJ just going to hand in his green pendant. He's going to be not happy when he sees where the bow is though.
Yeah, going a little bit out of order here.
He still hasn't checked the southern part of Dark World, which I don't know if you forgot about it or...
There's just a 5 upgrade. Probably didn't forget about it, but yeah, you might argue that might have been worth checking, then heading up to Pod and mirroring... Well, you don't have the mirror still. That's that bugaboo item right now. So yeah, it does complicate the routing situation, not having that.
Yeah, indeed. And at this moment, it looks like the only option we have left is, well, yeah, Armos Knights. And I think it's pretty easy. I mean, if Armos Knights drops the mitts, you're in go mode, and if he drops Mirror, then most likely it's going to be in Swamp the mitts.
Right. Pretty hard to argue. Not many other places it could be, especially with, was it not? Yeah, it was Ice Palace and Misery Mire as your pyramid crystals, so
yep.
It certainly couldn't be there either.
That is actually nice to know, and Jage is going to be happy when he finds the bow here, especially because he already has the silvers that will make Armos and Helmasaur a lot easier.
Right. Very cool glitch sound effect there.
That was the remix tape of remix tape. No, and Mally getting bullied in the hallway. No, JJ, that's the best you're gonna get out of Hive Cave today. Just turn around. Oh, when he's opting to go to save quit right after. I got a feeling that that bow is leading him towards Eastern Palace right now, though. At least Eastern Palace and Pod.
Yeah, it seems reasonable, but as we just mentioned with that mirror situation, it makes it more complicated than it ought to be.
And he's gonna give us the last information we need, which is Armos Knights. Mali gonna get his triple bombs. And immediately falling down a pit like, I didn't deserve this. And he's actually going for yet another Death Morph here. So yeah, at this point, well, JJ is Skullwoods up on Mali, and Mali is Pod up against JJ. Which is basically they're on exactly the same routing and time, I think.
They are having a weird coming together again, just like they did in the Light World.
Yep. And I'm just happy that JJ realized in time that he has already been here in Eastern Palace. He was like, wait, which thief opened this chest? Wait, it must have been me.
A little quick thinking there.
And we did see Agina's cave, yes. It held the Moon Pearl. And JJ is going to put those silvers to work right here. But even so, I mean, what if Armos Knights is indeed the answer and they would hit Go mode? That would also mean that JJ has silvers over Mali, because Spike Cave is not something everybody checks every day.
True. That's a very good point, especially now. Like, it's one thing if you're up there to check Hera, it's another thing to just check Spike Cave kind of out of nowhere. That said, obviously, once they have the Titan's Mitts, there'll be some reason, if Quake is a required medallion, to be checking Dark World, Death Mountain. That would be a time to check Spike Cave.
That is true, but I think, well, as soon as they find Mitts, they want to know that medallion on Meyer as soon as they can.
Right.
Well, here we go, JJ with the Armos kill, and it drops a... nothing yet. There we go, it drops the Mitts. Oh, well, let's keep it at full mode for now.
Full mode. Wow.
That is a really, really big find.
That is massive.
But what a feeling as a runner that you can just go mode Ice Palace and basically everything. That is just nice.
Go moding Ice Palace is just, it should be everyone's near favorite thing about Link to the Past Randomizer.
I would have opted to check the Meyer medallion because you still don't know whether Quake is required and you know you left items behind in Pod. But then again, maybe he just sees the big key and is like, well, I'm just gonna risk it and just go, well, just go with it. But yeah, it looked like that extremely early Ice Rod was just one big red herring. In the meanwhile, Mali is going towards Armos and JJ is heading towards Helmasaur. So both of our runners will be extremely close to each other after this, well, after they finish. I think we won't know for sure who's ahead until we finally see, well, the boss kills.
That's probably, yeah, that's probably a good kind of yardstick. Because these guys just continue to be neck and neck, and gripping stuff. I mean,
And JJ
okay. Interesting.
He's just going for the boss.
Yeah,
Well, we know that that's a good decision because
We
the
do.
map is in a big chest.
we do.
But that's also saying that he feels like he's in go mode.
Yeah, and 2/3 chance he is.
Yep. Straight in the bullseye of that Igor. Just a nice cutscene while Mali actually fights a live Igors for a key.
Those are both called Igors?
Yep.
Yeah. Did not realize that the statue was also called an Igor.
Well, it looks like an Igor.
It
so
certainly does. It just looks
I'd assume it's an Igor.
fat and like tentacly, very Japanese in that sense.
Well, it might be an Igor you.
Yes.
Maybe we should ask somebody who actually knows about it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd say that that's called an Igor.
I like it.
It looks like both of our runners are going to fight the boss at roughly the same
Amazing.
time.
Yeah, love it. And Mali needing to do the 18 arrow Armos instead of the 6.
And JJ needing to do the 17 hammer hits and 1 silver.
Yeah. Good point.
Meanwhile, Helmasaur is causing a little bit of a lag fest.
Yeah, a little bit. He's not utilizing the sword technique.
Well, it's actually good because it saves him
Yeah,
a bit of frame.
It saves
And
you quite a bit. Well done.
5 seconds between our runners while picking up.
Amazing. Chat rightly pointing out Mali is down to 2 arrows as well, which could potentially play a role. Stops in for a potion. JJ just straight up quits out of pod. I'll be interested to see if, like you were talking about, Zert, heads over to Misery Mire now.
Well,
Oh no,
I don't
I'm
know
gonna get a
whether our
Kingskin
runners
check.
realize whether they're in go mode or not.
Well, obviously they can't know for sure.
No, but I mean, they only have to check that Mire medallion, and that is something you would
Yeah.
love to know as soon as you can.
Absolutely.
But
So,
I think JJ's just
There's
gonna check
Mali.
for a
checking
tempered
that.
sword.
How about
Oh,
that?
there we go, a tempered
Wow.
sword.
Where did that come from?
Shall we call it commentator's blessing this time?
I guess we shall. My goodness.
And it's Ether's Mire medallion, so
There we have it.
officially in go mode, and JJ having a tempered sword and silvers over Mali. This is huge.
It
He
is
doesn't
huge.
have to check anything. He can just immediately stomp through these dungeons.
Cruise. I'm honestly
go to
surprised
the
he's
chests.
checking the shed right now. There's no
Yeah,
reason.
same. They
Well,
are-
there's not no reason. It's for butter sword basically. But
yeah, but
there's very little reason. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
So-
I mean, if I were Mali, I'd check a couple of chests on the way for silvers or a sword
Right.
upgrade. But JJ is completely set for this Ganon fight here.
Yep. Sure is.
Or maybe he wants to find the bug net so he can do a swag on him. And, well, yeah, Chan is pointing something pretty valuable out. We still need book or
we are-
mirror for desert.
Yeah, we ought to take a reflection of what chat has to say.
Well,
Read into chat's words, and you're absolutely right. That was a little bit of a premature go mode.
yeah, that is weird that you have desert as your very final dungeon.
Yeah, that does
Wait,
not happen too often.
Well, on the other side, guys, we still have a... Well, wait, no, Pedestal Dream's officially dead because, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
And yeah, everybody forgets about Desert Palace. We're very sorry. That is
Which,
definitely
I mean,
off.
why? Well, but yeah, why not? I mean, it's over there in the corner. It's just always kind of annoyingly there, but no one pays any
Oh,
mind
and there
to
is
it.
the sword upgrade for Mali.
Wow.
So that is massive. That actually, well, gives JJ Butter Sword, which is really
Yeah.
good for the Vitrius fight, but I don't think it makes up for the time for his King's Tomb check.
No, I don't think it does either.
Ooh, and Mali
Interesting.
going great for the boss, and JJ realizing that there has to be one more
Yeah.
item in here, and that could lead towards desert.
Maybe a gamble by Mali here. Just thinking, I don't feel comfortable. I'm going to give this a shot and hope that it works out. Save some time.
As far as I remember, as soon as there's an item in the first two chests, the Vitrius can only have a small key, else you'll have a key lock.
Right. Oh, and there's Quake.
Well, we have all medallions now, but
Yeah,
that's not really
exactly. No, not so much.
we want Book or Ether, or yeah, Mirror right now, which is actually nice. I mean, we know that Mirror can't be in it can be in Swamp.
Right.
It can be in T-Rock, but I guess that both our runners are going for Ice Palace after this. Did we actually see the medallion for T-Rock yet? Because if that is Quake required and Mirror or Book is in there, that would be massive for JJ.
True. Very true. And we talked about it. What if it's on Trinex with that early Ice Rod? It was looking dead.
Well, then the seed is just saying, well, commentators, you were so wrong about not needing Ice Rod.
Exactly.
But that would be kind of fitting towards you, though, Trinex having the required item.
Oh, yes, so it would. Thanks for reminding me.
I'm sorry. I just hope that it doesn't really bring back nightmares for you. No, but I mean, I think the chance of that happening 2 seasons in a row is like nil.
Pretty low, yeah. It's not something that happens very often.
Mali needs to pay attention to his health, though, because he's just standing in a pool of acid. But he gets the kill. And the small key from Vitrius.
Delicious, delicious acid. I mean, why not? JJ gonna have a much easier time no matter which way he decides to do this fight, whether it be Cape and Butter strats or Silver Arrow strats.
But I'm still seeing these Gomo things standing here. But for
Yeah.
just joined, we realized that we still need one more item because we forgot about Little Old Desert Palace.
Slight detail.
Right? I mean, we have to say it, right?
Absolutely.
And this is
Now
why
we're choosing to go back in. That's interesting.
Yeah, he knows that there is still one item remaining in here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one thing to see, for me, it's just follow through with the gamble, personally. And it could be wrong, but Mali gambled that either it's going to be on Vitrius or it's not the item needed here. So it's an interesting choice to then take extra time because your gamble failed to kind of correct it. So it almost makes it seem like, well, what was the point of doing that in the first place?
Yeah, that is true. But on the other hand, I mean, what if T-Rock has that item and he needs Quake?
You're right. I mean, yeah, that's as a
But
results-driven analysis. But if we don't know either way, it's just kind of like, well, why do the gamble in the first place if ultimately you're just going to go back?
Yeah, that's the fun part of Rando, though. I mean, we
True.
need one item, and we don't even. Well, we have so many options of where it can be, which
Right.
makes things a very interesting game.
Noristra, we aren't in go mode because they are still lacking the mirror or the book, which they will need to access Desert Palace.
Yep, we forgot Little Old Desert Palace.
We got very excited there when we saw the emblem for Swamp or for Mire, but a little bit premature.
Well, we were in. I did say that we were in full mode, so I guess it was still correct.
It was correct. It was 100% foe and 0% go, but it was close.
But still, I mean, both of our runners still need to full clear this anyway, so I mean, you don't really waste any time compared to your opponent, and I think both of our runners know that. And I think both the runners also have the same reasons to realize that they're either ahead or behind.
Yeah, and you do really wonder about the psychology here. I mean, us watching from afar, not having to make these decisions, I think most of us would say both runners have played this seed sensibly, and they've played it competently from a technical standpoint. So really, objectively speaking, they should feel like they're, if not in the lead, even.
Yeah, I think...
But is that really how they feel? And that's the question.
Yeah, I think JJ feels good because he found a silver in the spike cave, and Mali finds, is feeling really good because he did follow up on the sequence break and got his bow, so he didn't have to double dip.
Right. So yeah, they each have reasons to feel that way.
But yeah, like I said, at least it's good to know that we don't have to dive into to Swamp Palace. And both our runners cleared out Mire and not Swamp, as I see in the trackers there. It's a small error.
Oh yeah, did the same thing I just did a moment ago. They're nice, muddy, icky palaces. So
I can imagine. I mean, they're both like having a lot of ads. Fluffy. Well, one's fluffy and the other one just like eyeball.
True. But... yeah. Right. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on.
And those kind of things happen. I mean, well, we're all human. We all make mistakes, and we did call full mode. And yeah, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we're just getting in on the game, no matter who we are here. Interesting, JJ, with the key, choosing to just go ahead and fall and go the long way around.
I think he's not comfortable about his bomb jumps in here, so he just wants to, to take the routing normally.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Mali getting bullied by the freeze.
Very strange. Yeah, way that room played out. And Mali going ahead and falling too to pick up the key down below.
Yeah, that's why he didn't. That's why he fell down. He didn't have a key when he was up there.
Yeah, and I misspoke. What I meant to say was you can still kind of get around to the other side with that one, and kind of hope that's not the way you need to end up going.
And I like this check JJ just made.
I
he
agree.
only needs one more item, and if it wasn't there, he could just immediately go back. But
yes,
I'll still have to check first these two, and if it's not here, but in that one chest, he'd just lose time.
Right. There it is.
Yep, the 10 arrows.
Continues up though.
Well, we still have one more item to go in Ice Palace. If it's not in here, then T-Rock is coming.
Oh!
And we're in go mode. Well, we're
now
officially
we can
in
mark
go
it.
mode. So no T-Rock required. That Ice Rod has been there since the first time, and you don't even need it.
Nope.
There, now I can say it.
Officially. These runners are neck and neck.
But JJ having Butter Sword on Colts there will make that fight
so easy.
Over in the breeze.
Yep.
If you get that first swing correctly, you get them in the corner. It is a lovely fight to watch.
It really is. And as brief as it is, it's just immensely satisfying. He's just got to make sure not to use the fire rod.
Nope, indeed. I don't know whether he has potion, but I expect him to use,
He does have the green potion, but yeah, Bombos makes sense.
Yeah, those potions he got way at the start of the game, but
Yeah.
still hasn't used.
There it is. Just
This
like
is-
that.
Yeah, this is a lovely fight to watch with Buttersword,
beauty.
especially if it goes right.
Yep.
And as Chad is pointing out, well, at this point, Mali won't find the silvers. I mean, I think we can
No
see
reason.
the issue in that.
Yep.
So JJ is having a really, really good game routing-wise.
Yeah.
And every single gamble he made paid off.
He's ahead in absolute terms. He's ahead in resource terms. It is essentially his race to lose here.
Yep. So let's see. JJ roughly went out of the Corsair fight at 1:20 and 30 seconds. Let's see how far Mali is ahead just from the fight on Cold.
Hera was a waste of time, exactly, Spiffers, but it resulted in the silvers, or in the tempered sword, which led to the gold sword. Is that what it was? Now I'm confusing myself.
It was silver arrows were in
It
Spike
was
Cave,
silvers and Spike
and
Cave.
King's Tomb had the
That's
final
what it
sword
was.
upgrade.
Yeah.
It wasn't even boot locked, so boots were not required
Never
at all.
required, yeah.
At least not yet, until G Tower, of course. But, I mean, hey, who passes up on free boots?
Why would you? Mali needing to be careful here. Oh dear. There we go.
Doesn't have potions left, right?
Not as far as I'm aware. Running low on cape here with only 2 hearts.
Don't take one of these fluffy...
There we go.
Okay, nice.
Well done.
And finding the big key, and immediately mirrors out going towards Landmo.
Yep.
Is JJ.
No question.
And let's see, Mali exiting at roughly 122 flat, which means there's 1.5 minutes between these runners.
Yep. All things equal, which as we know they're not. So that 1.5 should only expand given equivalent execution between the two.
But so far, the seed is looking like a really good time for both our runners, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not often that you see someone entering Ganon Tower like way before sub 130.
Mm-hmm. Certainly not with these logics.
And here we go. Let's see which tactic JJBlu wants to get. Will he go for the... okay, we'll go for the Fire Rod strats with Buttersword.
Not bad.
There we go. JJBlu picking up his final crystal at 123.30. And, well, you guys know what this means. He has picked up all 7 crystals and he's going up to Ganon Tower. Which chest, marked from 1 to 22, well, probably from least trolley to tile room, is the big chest, or the big key going to be in?
You tell us, Certinal.
Ooh, I am going for lucky number 8.
Lucky number 8. You must be an 8-ball player.
Yep, I am. And what is your guess going to be, Justin?
I am going on behalf of my flatmate who always picks number 9. I am going to pick number 9.
Ah, so you're more of a 9-ball player then.
Yes, actually. That's a fair shout. If I'm not playing snooker here in Scotland, of course.
Yeah, fair enough. When Spiffers is rooting for Mali, it seems. Going for number 8 is a standard number, but since...
Little
JJ's
underdog
ahead,
support, that's alright.
yeah.
What I find interesting, incidentally, between the two, is the difference in rupees now. 1,118 to 89.
That is a big, big difference.
Yeah,
I
you
think
generally do
Mali-
not see that.
I think Mali bought a lot of potions, and especially on victories, I think he used 2 or 3 in total. But then again, I mean, I'd rather spend my money on potions and get the boss fight done than dying to a boss fight and then still have to buy
Absolutely.
safeties after.
Yep.
And I mean, still, Meyer with 12 hearts and without silver arrows is still a really tough fight.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. Absolutely not. But that's the interesting thing. We often think, well, silvers, that'll save you a few seconds. Well, between that and the butter sword, you're looking at a Meyer fight made easier, that you don't have to refill potions, spend time doing that. You're looking at an Ice Palace fight made significantly easier. And of course, Ganon, you're going to one cycle that trivially, as opposed to it being a real challenge when you have the tempered. And JJ going straight left.
No, will he go for Dark Magician strat here?
Yeah, could be.
That looks just number 1 is just a big 20, so Bob lives. That is 1 small key, more rupees. Another small key, and a big key, so number 5 is the winner. Who got closest with it? Number 5. Let's have a look-see here. It is actually our tracker, Mr. Michael Volt.
Hey, how about that?
He's not only good at tracking, but he just keeps well track of the numbers, even.
Yep, JJ tripped a little bit on his strats, which not a lot of players do, of just going into the spikes to attack these mimics.
I always love watching these rooms because every single runner has a different tactic for the entire Ganon climb.
Especially the front of it, though.
Yeah, indeed.
Gets trolled by that Igor. We are essentially, at this point, looking for falls on Moldorm, falls on Ganon.
T-Tower despawns, maybe?
There is that one. And, of course, long Aghanim fights. Otherwise, JJ in the clear. And with full marks to him, he's played this seed pretty darn close to as well as you could ever hope to. So his lead at this point, well-deserved, and...
Oh, and Mali is skipping the entire right side of G-Tower as well, just opting to go for Dark Magician strat.
Yeah, very interesting.
So we'll never ever see what's on the right-hand side of G-Tower, which is quite rare that you don't see both chests.
It really is. A little bit of trolling from the Skull Kid there in the final room before the Anti-Fairy and Lanmolas 2. JJ's just made that a tougher fight for himself.
I'll actually see some people abusing that, because if you stand straight in the middle with Butter Sword and you get one spin attack, you can immediately just annihilate all of those landmills.
It is very difficult to pull off from what I understand, but it's certainly possible.
But it looks extremely satisfying though.
Yeah, no doubt.
And just here in the first room, you see the difference between the silvers that JJ has over the normal arrows that Mali has.
Oh, and also
getting a fairy drop in that room.
Yeah, that's big. I was already concerned for Mali down to 2 hearts or so.
Meanwhile, JJ just cleared out the Wizard room just in 1 cycle. Really nice execution.
Back on the rails here after a little bit of a hitch early.
And I also do have to say that this was a really weird 327 seed. We
Agreed.
have not seen Shovel, we have not seen mushroom, we have officially not even have to dip in any of the pendant dungeons.
That is the weirdest. Uh-oh.
Oh, JJ.
Let's see the lantern
no, you
strat.
can't make
Yes, you can, but he took
yeah.
one step too far.
Good thing there's a full magic refill here.
Funny enough, in one of my group stage matches against Glentie, I ran out of magic and I reached over with the lantern and lit that torch.
Nice. I did not know
Yes.
that was possible.
It is possible. He just missed it. It is within a couple of pixels. So it's about as precise as a bomb jump, but if you can pull it off, it can save you a few seconds. Always tough to tell when you don't have half magic if you're going to run out on that last shot if you're real close.
Indeed. It looks like JJ is going to set a really good time. So I think it's even going to be close to his PB, or maybe it's going to be a PB. And I think it's going to be the same for Mali, so both these runners gave it their absolute best this season.
Yeah, we've seen a great couple of runs. I mean, you hate to see someone have to go out on a seed like this in a different sort of way than when it's a super troll seed, and you don't want to see anyone go out on that either. In this case, it's just because they've both run an excellent race.
Indeed. And, well, we just had the validation map, so... Well,
Gotta love that.
JJ knows where Aghanim is. And let's see what pattern he gets. This is not a bad one. Only getting a single hidden.
Oh!
Nice triple.
Well done. Can we see a 3 cycle? Not quite.
Nope.
Good effort.
Well, we saw a 3 cycle, but yeah.
Now we're on to cycle 5.
Well, it's still an average of 1 cycle per.
Oh! Those untimely blue balls again, but got him on that one.
Always those blue balls that gets annoying.
Yeah.
JJ expressing his anger with that.
Down the bat-shaped hole at 132.49.
I really don't expect to have that. Well, him to have that many issues, to be honest, with a cape strat, blue potion, blue mail, or rep mail, butter sword, and silvers.
Especially with the blue potion, you can be completely profligate with the cape. Not worry.
Exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's slightly conservative, but it's also kind of guaranteeing yourself a relatively quick fight at the same time. So why not?
Yeah, and since he has silvers, he doesn't need that much magic over his silverless gun.
Also true, he didn't overuse the cape, so he may not end up using that potion at all. Dancing Ganon here.
Ali in the meanwhile.
Fairy's doing a Ganon. That was 8 or 9 warps.
Well, at least I think he's exhausted himself, so he's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
you see?
There you go. Why, yes, he did find the arrows in the Dark World. Gets the single, nice and simple.
Nice.
Torch glitch. Oh, we could have a triple here.
1, 2.
Oh!
But there goes the final arrow, and good game to JJ right here.
Fantastic job.
Do you happen to have his official SRL time or not?
I do not.
Okay, I am not in SRL either, so...
We're going to go with 134.25.
Usually a couple seconds delay, so I think a
usually
135.28. That's my guess.
All right. Well, we'll go with that.
According to Neuraistra, I am actually correct about that.
Nicely done.
So congratulations to JJ, who is winning this extremely close matchup again with 2.
Truly. a nail biter and a nail biter from start to finish. They were never more than maybe 90 to 120 seconds apart.
Indeed. And I see we're being joined by JJBlu in the Discord chat. So, JJ, congratulations on that win.
Thanks, man.
Amazing job, JJ. You really made it a very interesting topic of conversation for us was when you decided to go ahead and do pod, even though you had that sequence broken hook shot. What was your thought process there?
Well, when I got the hook shot, at that point I just got to go all the way in the hopes that maybe I can break out of having to do AGA. Because I'll be honest, my AGA was garbage.
Well, you had an amazing triple in there.
Well, no, I was talking about my AGA 1.
AGA 1. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, more power to you if you should have saved 2 or 3 seconds here or there, but we didn't have any complaints about the way you went up the tower.
Yeah, my AGA 1 going through there was I didn't like it. My AGA my G tower climb I was really happy with though overall.
Yeah. Agreed. But yeah, curious about that. So because that was one of the first what we might call a major divergence point. What was interesting was in Light World, you guys did almost nothing in the same order. And yet you ended up within 10 seconds of each other. I mean, it's really how it turned out because you had to clear just about everything. You went to Agina earlier, but Mally had found, what was it that Mally found? It was the power glove, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would escape first in the dark.
Yeah, so you each had an item that the other didn't, but you ended up back on the same rails right around the same time. But then you split up when you got to Dark World. Mally went directly to Village of Outcasts. You went to Pod. So what was your thinking?
Well, see,
not continuing that sequence break, basically.
I honestly, when I saw the fact that the sequence break didn't lead me to anything, I knew one of two things had to be the case. One, we were going to get an item to go from Agana to the other side of the map, or two, flippers. It was either going to be hammer or flippers that had to be in Pod, the pyramid, or catfish. So I decided it's better to check all of them because if it's hammer, that's a big deal. If it's flippers, it's whatever.
Right, good. And that's exactly what we talked about. It's funny that it turned out to be that also the bow was on the other side. So there was an argument for either one in the end. That was what made it such an interesting play. And again, what kept you close, even though you split fairly early after that weird Light World. You split almost immediately, and yet here we are within a couple minutes of each other at the end. And oddly, a lot of the difference here is you going to King's Tomb and going to Spike Cave, even though you did waste some time doing Hera, you ended up with silver arrows as a result.
And Tier 4 sword.
And Tier 4 sword and King's Tomb, yeah. So, I mean, what a weird couple of things to really go your way.
What were you thinking going to King's Tomb? I mean, they've quit to Sanctuary and just went into King's Tomb and found a sword and just like, okay, I'll take it.
Well, my thought was that based on positioning of everything, it was an out of position item spot, and I had just gotten Tier 2 gloves, so I decided it was a good check before I go to Magic Bat. I think I did that after it, if I remember correctly.
It looks like Mally just finished his Silverless Ganon in an official SRL time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 39 seconds.
GG to Mally.
True jet
No, it really was. Great job by both of you as well. I mean, we were commenting on...
Is it me or somebody?
I have the feeling that Justin is having some technical issues right now.
Okay, I thought it was just me.
But I'm going to drag Mally in. He was in there as well. So, Mally, congratulations on still a really good run of this seed.
Yes, congratulations to Mally. GG.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. GG, JJ. Thank you.
Yeah, GG Mally. That was a good race. I didn't know how close it'd be, but I felt it was a jet seat from beginning to end.
Yeah. I felt like I was ahead for most of it, but I guess I wasn't.
You were neck and neck for most of it, and we want to ask you the same thing that we asked JJ. To give you a little background, in the light world, you guys did absolutely nothing in the same order.
No.
JJ went to Agina before you, and you did escape and got the power glove before JJ. However, you were to the dark world within 15 seconds of each other. I mean, that's what it ended up turning out to be. But then JJ went to Pod, you went to Village of Outcasts across the river, sequence broken. What was your thought of continuing the sequence break there?
My thought was that because I sequence broke the hook shot, I knew that either flippers or hammer or something progressive would be at Catfish or in Pod, because there was no other option because nothing was on Pyramid. So I just went over there because there were more items there to check, basically. And I figured if I sequence broke and he didn't, my one advantage would be the hook shot. So
Right.
I had to try and push it as much as I could before I actually did what the logic wanted me to do.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. And the funny part was, you saw obviously the flippers pretty early once you went over there.
Yeah. And
But then you also found the bow in Hype Cave a good 10 minutes before JJ did. But the interesting part being the dive into Pod, of course, yielded the hammer. So a really weird combination of all those possible plays that weren't intended by the logic, just kind of coming together, and at the end, ultimately making almost no difference. So
Yeah.
there was an argument for either one of the plays you guys both made, and you both had sequence broken that hook shot. One of you continued it, one of you didn't, and it really, oddly enough, ended in almost no difference.
Yeah, I think something I could have done better was probably checking Catfish when I checked Pyramid, because that's not that far from the hookshot spot that I was going to use anyway. And
True.
It would have had a fire rod, and I could have cleared out Skullwoods while I was over there.
You're right. That was a big difference. But that was also part of the weirdness of that calculation. JJ went and found that fire rod and then decided, nah, I'm just going to do Pod, even though, Skull Woods was suddenly completely open. So yeah, it was interesting the way this one played out. I hope both of you guys get the chance to watch the VOD and see just how you can end up with nearly the same time with really, really different decisions in a seed like this.
Yeah, I am looking forward to watching that, actually.
Yeah, the funny part was that because of your routing, JJ could, basically just one visit both Thiefstown and Skullwoods, and because of your routing, you could just do, Pod in one go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually really, really fun to watch, and I mean, you basically got to, I think JJ cleared the Eastern Palace before you did. And, by the time you were in Eastern Palace, he was in Pod. That was basically the last dungeon you guys could do before you should go towards, Ice Palace and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's just how close this race was. It was really nice to watch, though.
It really was. You guys put on a show for us, and we appreciate it.
Well, all of our races have actually been really, really close.
They
so
have, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Great
glad the final
matchup.
one it's good. It's good match to go out on, I think.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I'm glad you've got that feeling. What were you saying, JJ? Sorry.
Oh, I was just like, I felt like we put everything out there in this race. We went all in with everything we did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's absolutely fair, and that's fair to say, having not even seen what your opponent did yet. You guys really did. It was massively entertaining just watching the back and forth and the rubber banding going on between the two of you. So you really did a great job.
From what the commentators told me, I ended with silvers and tier 4 sword. I think that was one of the big positives for me.
Did he say you did something on Dark Death Mountain or not?
I did
No,
we
Spike
didn't.
Cave.
Oh, Spike Cave. I did not do Spike Cave. I didn't even go up there.
Right.
He did Hera at one point, and right after he did Spike Cave, and he found the silver arrows there. And I think right after Pod, he checked one chest, which was the King's Tomb, when he found the Sword of Grace.
So weird. It was the weirdest play, and it worked out absolutely perfectly. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. It was good stuff. But no, it's interesting that JJ, I mean, this is it was an interesting play that JJ made because there was a crystal dungeon in front of you, right? What was your thinking to then go to Green Pendant, Hera, JJ?
Well, the fact that we had gotten Hammer until we had actually gotten the flippers, that we wouldn't have been able to get the hook shot.
Mhm.
And so I actually looked at that point as after getting flippers, Hera is technically available.
Yeah, without the mirror, right.
Yeah, and so my thought was at that point, I want to check Spike Cave, and I might as well just go ahead and do Hera while I'm there because it's only a few minutes, and it gets me 3 chests, which could end up being the key item I'm missing.
Yeah, that's really interesting because what I said was this is one of those weird situations where you have Hera access without the. That's what I see JJ doing. He's thinking, I may as well go ahead and do it. Now, I didn't factor it in as you just thinking, well, I'd like to check Spike Cave. Of course, you went ahead and did that, and that was what paid off with the silver arrows.
Yeah, I'm curious what made you do that, because, I mean, if you have Cape and Hammer, obviously you can do a Spike Cave, but Cape was required for Agnum, so in my mind, that was the only thing that was going to be required for. After I saw Bumper Cave, had nothing.
Yeah, I think what I was commenting on at the time was just that it's the weird way to get around a Hera, and that makes you suspicious of Hera because the mirror's still not out there. So that's basically what your thought process was, JJ?
Yeah, I honestly felt that either Spike Cave and or Hera would have some form of value or progression. Now, I actually was more leaning toward Hera to some extent, but I was not going to just leave Spike Cave there if I'm going up there in the first place.
No, of course not. You get cleared out the exit, it's right there.
But I think in the end you were extremely happy with that Spike Cave result, though.
Oh, I didn't complain about silvers, that's for sure. Because I hadn't touched any of the dungeons that could use them relatively well. Because I had silvers for Pod, I had silvers for Eastern, I had silvers for Meyer.
And I think it's easy to underestimate, sorry, Zert, it's easy to underestimate just how much of a time impact having them and having a tier 4 sword can have.
But just a small question. I mean, us as commentators, as soon as you guys found the myths, we were like, well, they're in go mode. What were you guys thinking at that point? Were you accally thinking about having the desert access or not? Because we absolutely forgot about it.
I flat out knew we still needed access. My question was which one we were going to get.
Yeah,
right.
Booker Mirror, that was like, whichever one I find, I'm in go. And I'm happy with that.
We were overexcited for you guys. When you found it, again, within 20 seconds of each other, maybe, it was so close that we thought, oh, they're in go. They've seen the Meyer medallion. That's what we were thinking, and we completely forgotten the fact that we still had no mirror.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, and at that point we saw JJ checking Meyer's chatting. We're like, wait, you have tempered sword.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. I think the one thing, did you do Ice or Meyer first, Mally? Out of curiosity.
I did Meyer first because.
So we both did. Okay.
Yeah, because if I found Mirror there, I could just go mode. I could do Desert Palace and then go mode Ice Palace, and then that would be. No wait. Yeah, if you had Mirror was the last time it was Ice Palace. Yeah.
And
So
you
we
made
both
the
had
interesting
same thought.
choice, Mally, to go ahead and go straight to the boss once
Now-
you found the big key.
That's a rod I've been doing a lot lately, where if you have big key and you get an item in Meyer, just go straight to Vitreous, because if Vitreous drops it, you save yourself so much time checking chests that are so far out of the way.
So many other chests that have so many keys in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but according to the logic, as soon as one of the first 2 chests has an item, then Vitreous can only drop a small key in case of key locks.
Oh, which 2 chests are those, out of curiosity?
Bridge at the start and the one in the spikes. The first 2 chests you check in Meyer.
Okay, well that's good to know for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly. I don't think the logic necessarily has to do that, especially in a dungeon like Meyer that has so many free keys all over the place. But so your idea makes sense, but if that's not how it's programmed, that's not how it's programmed, of course.
Yeah, I think if I find an item in any chest but those, I'd still do it.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting play. One thing I'll admit to you that I was saying at the time was, I thought you were just gambling and you were thinking, well, all right, I found one item here.
Oh,
I'm just going to go ahead and continue, do the boss, go to Ice, see what I find there. You went back in. Now I felt like, but now it makes more sense that I understand your thought process. At the time, I thought, well, do you really want to half gamble here and go back in? Like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of your gamble?
Yeah, I understand how that might be a little bit confusing when you're watching.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after the seed I played last night with Jet, with Boots, Mir, and Pod, and then there was one item left on Helmasaur King, and it was Ice Run that ended up being required. I'm not gambling leaving dungeons with no items, and that's exactly why I went back to Thieves Town so early.
Yeah, that's fair enough, no doubt.
Well, I think every single runner of this game had that in some instance, that they left one item in a dungeon and eventually that costing them the race.
For
so
sure.
I completely understand it.
Well, guys, we appreciate the show you put on for us. We appreciate this amazing matchup with, you know, an average time difference between these two runners of about 90 seconds either way, and just an incredible matchup between the two. So thank you to both of you. Congrats to JJ for moving on. Our regards to Mally, and our thanks for participating.
Oh no, I'll be happy to do it again, and
Yeah,
You'll
JJ.
get revenge at some point.
I'll try. But you were really nice to me, and we had a lot of fun setting up the schedule and such. So I wish you the best of luck in your next match, which I believe is against somebody whose name I can't pronounce. Starts with an M.
It's
It's Moucheron Quipe. I think
yeah.
if my French is quite right, then...
But yeah, good luck against him.
I got a feeling I'm gonna have to see how good he is, because he got one of the top 4 seeds, so he can't be bad at the game.
Hey, speak for the other 3 guys. Obviously, we know what happens when you get the number 1 seed in the tournament.
Oh, Justin.
Guys, thanks again. Any final thoughts for us?
Okay, well, apparently, JJ, you're playing against Mooch.
There we go. I like that.
Okay. I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody coming out. Appreciate the restream, the host, everybody who did all this for us. It's been a pleasure, and it's been great racing with you, Mally. We'll definitely have to do this for fun maybe later.
Oh yeah, likewise. Feel the exact same way.
Thanks again to you both, and thanks to everyone for watching tonight. As we're moving on into the second elimination round of the A Link to the Past Randomizer Open Mode Tournament 2017. On behalf of Zertinol, I'm Justin Z, and we wish you a very good night.
Good evening, all.